So right, let's move with the next step, which is the fourth step is a ligation of the desired DNA fragment into a suitable vector. Now that we have isolated the desired DNA fragment, so this is the gene of interest, this is the desired gene. So if you can remember, we have used an echo R1 enzyme and we have broken the DNA genetic material, and then we have isolated this DNA fragment, desired DNA fragment, by using technique gel electrophoresis and then elution, if you can remember, right? Now this is the desired DNA fragment. Now from here there are two things, like if I want to amplify this desired DNA fragment, amplify means I want to increase this gene of interest, I can employ two methods. I can use two methods. The first method is an in vivo method. In vivo means what? I will be inserting the gene of interest into a vector, and this vector I will be introducing into what? Into a host, and there we will be amplifying the gene of interest, and also the gene of interest will express in the host cell to produce a protein. So this is the first method. The second method is there is an in vitro technique. In vitro means a lab technique. So in the laboratory also we can amplify this gene of interest. We can increase or multiply the gene of interest, which is by using a technique which is polymerase chain reaction, PCR. So here two methods. First method is an in vivo method where we will be inserting the gene of interest into a vector, sending this vector into the host and inside the living cell. That is why I am using a word in vivo. So inside the living cell, the gene of interest is amplified, and not only amplified but also the gene is undergoing expression to produce the insulin protein. So this is the first method. Second method is what? There is a lab technique which is PCR. We will be using that technique to amplify this gene of interest, but we cannot able to express the gene there in the in vitro condition, but we can amplify or multiply the gene of interest. So that technique PCR we will learn later. Now we will concentrate on the in vivo technique where we can amplify the gene of interest and also produce the concerned protein in the host. So right, the fourth step is ligation of the DNA fragment into suitable vector. So this is the vector which I have chosen. So this plasmid would be the vector. So I have isolated this plasmid from certain bacteria. ఈ ప్లాస్మిడ్ని నేను ఒక బ్యాక్టీరియా నుంచి ఐసోలేట్ చేశాను. Now this plasmid is having ampicillin resistance gene. Now ampicillin resistance gene acts as a selectable marker. So if you can remember, we have already discussed about the characters of a vector. A vector should have an ORI gene, it should have a selectable marker. So all this we have discussed earlier. So now plasmid will be acting as a vector. So in this example, and this plasmid is having ampicillin resistance gene. Now what I am doing is I am cutting this plasmid with the same enzyme which I have used to cut the gene of interest, which is echo R1. నేను echo R1 enzyme ని ఇక్కడ కూడా యూజ్ చేస్తున్నా, even to cut the plasmid ని కట్ చేయడానికి. Right, I have cut the plasmid. Now after cutting the plasmid, right, so if you can remember, echo R1 generates sticky ends, right. Now after cutting the plasmid, what I am doing, I am adding this DNA, desired DNA fragment into this plasmid. I am inserting this desired DNA fragment here. So right, now after inserting the desired DNA fragment, what is the enzyme which is binding or attaching the desired DNA fragment with this plasmid? Yes, the enzyme is DNA ligase. So here the DNA ligase, by constructing the phosphodiester bonds of the gene of interest with the plasmid, and here also gene of interest with the plasmid. So what happens is, yes, it has binded the fragment with the plasmid. Now what is formed is a recombinant DNA has formed. So right, now this vector is called as a recombinant vector or a recombinant DNA. Now this is a recombinant DNA, or you can also call it as a chimeric DNA. So right, ఇప్పుడు ఒక రికాంబినెంట్ ప్లాస్మిడ్ ఫామ్ అయింది, రికాంబినెంట్ వెక్టార్ ఫామ్ అయింది, ఆర్ రికాంబినెంట్ డిఎన్ఏ ఆర్ chimeric DNA ఫామ్ అయిపోయింది. Now what is the next step? The next step is we have to introduce this recombinant DNA into the host. సో ఒక హోస్ట్ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకొని మనం రికాంబినెంట్ డిఎన్ఏని అందులోకి పంపించాలి. సో ఐ హ్యావ్ చోజన్ E. coli as the host. So right, imagine, so this is the fifth step, introduction of recombinant vector into the host. So this is the E. coli, Escherichia coli. I am selecting it as the host. Right. Now to this E. coli, what is it I am adding is, I will be adding the recombinant DNA. So this is the E. coli. Now what I am doing is, I am adding this recombinant DNA. Right, and notice here this is the ampicillin resistance gene, antibiotic resistance gene, which is acting as a selectable marker. So right, how this recombinant DNA, how this this plasmid, recombinant plasmid, how does it enter into the bacterial cell? So the bacterial cell should be competent, should be made competent, so which we have learnt in the earlier class. So we will be using calcium chloride treatment, a calcium chloride treatment, and then we have performing a heat shock method. You remember cooling, heating to 42 degrees centigrade, again cooling, which we have already discussed. So by performing this technique, the bacteria will be competent, the E. coli will be competent. That means it can now able to accept the rDNA into the cell. So right, so by performing this technique, now imagine this rDNA has entered, recombinant DNA has entered into the E. coli. Right. Now this cell is became what? Transformed cell. So this E. coli is a transformed cell. Transformed means changed. Now it has got, previously there was no this recombinant DNA, now it has got this rDNA. Then how to know whether it is transformed or not? ఇక్కడ మనం టూ థింగ్స్ ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ చేయొచ్చు. మనం పంపించిన రికాంబినెంట్ డిఎన్ఏ ఏదైతే ఉందో అది బ్యాక్టీరియల్ సెల్కి వెళ్ళొచ్చు, ఈకోలై లోపలికి వెళ్ళొచ్చు, లేదా ఇంకొక సెకండ్ ప్రాబబిలిటీ కూడా వీఆర్ ఎక్స్పెక్టింగ్, మనం పంపించిన రికాంబినెంట్ డిఎన్ఏ ఏదైతే ఉందో అది వెళ్ళకపోవచ్చు కూడా. సో ఇమాజిన్, సో వీ హ్యావ్ టూ కేసెస్ హియర్, టూ సినారియోస్ విచ్ వీఆర్ డిస్కసింగ్. The first scenario is what? The rDNA has entered and it has transformed. Or a second probability is what? The rDNA did not enter. Recombinant DNA will enter gaale. And it is in non-transformed cell. Non-transformed. But how to know whether it is transformed or non-transformed? Okay, technique undali kada. Now here plays an important role of the selectable marker. Selectable marker is playing a very important role. So let's understand. So ఇందులో పంపించిన తర్వాత మనం ఏం చేయాలి? The cell should be kept in a medium for some time. So immediately you should not do ampicillin. You should not add this ampicillin. So కొద్దిసేపు రెస్ట్ ఇవ్వాలి. After giving some rest, we should grow this in a culture medium. After that, we will be adding ampicillin. ఇప్పుడు మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాం, ampicillin అనే యాంటీబయాటిక్ యాడ్ చేస్తున్నాం. Now when we gave some time, what actually happened is the gene, ampicillin resistance gene unda ikkada. So right, so this gene underwent an expression, transcription, translation, and it produced some protein. అందుకనే మనం కొంచెం టైం ఇవ్వాలి. సో ఆఫ్టర్ ఇంట్రొడక్షన్ ఆఫ్ రికాంబినెంట్ వెక్టార్ ఇంటూ హోస్ట్, వాట్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు డూ ఇస్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు గివ్ సమ్ టైమ్. యూ హ్యావ్ టు లీవ్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ద కల్చర్ మీడియం ఫర్ సమ్ టైమ్. ఆ సమ్ టైంలో ఏమవుతుంది అంటే ampicillin resistance gene is undergoing expression and producing protein, some protein, right? Now we have to add what? Ampicillin. Now when you add ampicillin, now this protein can detoxify the ampicillin. ఈ ప్రోటీన్ ఏం చేసింది, ఈ యాంఫిసిలిన్ నువ్వు ఎప్పుడైతే ఈకోలై మీద యాంఫిసిలిన్ యాడ్ చేసినావో ఆ ప్రోటీన్ని డీటాక్సిఫై చేసింది. So that means what, this E. coli became resistant to this ampicillin. So even if you add ampicillin, E. coli is not dying. So right, now దీనివల్ల what is that we came to know is, we came to know that transformation has occurred. Why? Because along with the ampicillin resistance gene, what is there? Gene of interest is there. So when this E. coli got the property of ampicillin resistance means, along with ampicillin resistance, what is there? Gene of interest there. So it indirectly gave a hint that our gene of interest, the gene of interest has already, it is in the E. coli cell, has been sent into the E. coli cell. So manaki E. coli transform అయిందా లేదా అని చెప్పడానికి ఇక్కడ ampicillin resistance gene అనేది ఒక మార్కర్ లాగా ఉపయోగపడుతుంది, ఒక ఐడెంటిఫై చేయడానికి ఉపయోగపడుతూ ఉంది, రైట్? ఎందుకు? బికాజ్ ఇప్పుడు ఈ సెల్కి యాంఫిసిలిన్ రెసిస్టెన్స్ ప్రాపర్టీ వచ్చింది ఈకోలైకి. యాంఫిసిలిన్ రెసిస్టెన్స్ ప్రాపర్టీ ఎందుకు వచ్చింది? బికాజ్ ఈ యాంఫిసిలిన్ రెసిస్టెన్స్ జీన్ మనం తీసుకున్న ప్లాస్మిడ్లో ఉంది. అండ్ అలాంగ్ విత్ దాట్ ఇంకెవరున్నారు? జీన్ ఆఫ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ కూడా ఉంది. అంటే యాంఫిసిలిన్ రెసిస్టెన్స్ జీన్ ఎంటర్ అయింది అంటే జీన్ ఆఫ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ కూడా ఎంటర్ అయినట్టే కదా. సో దిస్ గివ్స్ అన్ ఇండైరెక్ట్ indication that the E. coli is a transformed cell now and it is carrying the gene of interest. Now imagine a condition if it is non-transformed, asal transform kaaledu anukundam. Imagine it is not transformed, dinu pampichina recombinant DNA enter kaaledu. So in that case, if I am adding ampicillin on this cell, on this E. coli cell, imagine, will it survive? No, it will not survive because the rDNA did not enter, the ampicillin resistance gene did not enter. That means what? That means the E. coli is not resistant to the ampicillin and that is why it is dying. ఇది చనిపోయింది ఈ కోలై సెల్ అంటే దట్ మీన్స్ వాట్? ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ నాన్ ట్రాన్స్ఫార్మ్డ్ సెల్. ఇది బ్రతికుంది అంటే వాట్ డస్ ఇట్ మీన్? దట్ మీన్స్ దట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ ట్రాన్స్ఫార్మ్డ్ సెల్ అండ్ అలాంగ్ విత్ దట్ ampicillin resistance gene, the gene of interest is also present. So this is how we will be identifying, by using selectable markers, we will be identifying whether the transformation has occurred or not. Right. We will also use PBr 322 in the next example.